To understand the origins of ancient Hebrew writing, one must first journey back thousands of years to an age when the Mediterranean, North Africa, and the Near East teemed with vibrant civilizations, each developing its own systems for recording language, thought, commerce, and culture. Imagine the ancient world, bustling city-states, bustling marketplaces, traders crossing vast deserts, and scribes bent over clay tablets or papyrus sheets. Writing, in its earliest forms, was not just a tool for communication, but a powerful symbol of identity, legacy, and the very essence of civilization itself. Ancient Hebrew writing is a thread woven through this intricate tapestry, connecting the worldviews and histories of peoples across continents. The roots of the ancient Hebrew script, indeed, stretch back into the sands and stones of Africa and the Levant. Before the emergence of what we recognize as Hebrew, the earliest scripts in the region were shaped profoundly by contact, migration, and adaptation. The Sinai Peninsula, a crossroads between Africa and Asia, yielded some of the oldest alphabetic inscriptions known to scholars. These inscriptions, dating to around 1800 BCE, are commonly referred to as Proto-Sinaitic, and they represent a critical transitional phase between Egyptian hieroglyphs and the alphabetic scripts that would later sweep across the ancient world. The journey begins with the Egyptians. In the fertile Nile Valley, symbols were carved and painted onto tombs, monuments, and papyrus scrolls. Their hieroglyphic script, a sophisticated system of pictorial writing, was both beautiful and complex. But while hieroglyphs were suited to the monumental inscriptions of pharaohs and priests, they were not easily adapted for everyday use or for languages other than Egyptian. By the second millennium BCE, Semitic-speaking workers and traders who traveled or lived in Egypt's Sinai outposts began to modify the hieroglyphic system, simplifying its symbols and using them in new ways to represent the consonantal sounds of their own languages. This process gave rise to Proto-Sinaitic, which, though still somewhat pictorial, was more streamlined and accessible than the script used by the Egyptians. From Proto-Sinaitic emerged Proto-Canaanite, a script that spread through the lands of Canaan, modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, and parts of Syria and Jordan. Here, the alphabetic principle took root. A limited number of symbols, each representing a single consonant sound, could be combined to spell out any word in the language. This innovation was revolutionary. It democratized writing, making it possible for people beyond the elite class of scribes to learn the script and record information. The simplicity and efficiency of the alphabet allowed it to be adopted and adapted by neighboring cultures with remarkable speed. Enter the Phoenicians. This seafaring people, centered along the coast of what is now Lebanon, became the great transmitters of the alphabet. Their script, derived from Proto-Canaanite, was standardized and spread by Phoenician traders and settlers across the Mediterranean, from North Africa to Spain. The Phoenician alphabet, in turn, became the ancestor of many later scripts, including Greek, Latin, and Aramaic. Ancient Hebrew writing, as it developed in the kingdoms of Israel and Judah, was essentially a regional variant of the Phoenician script. The earliest Hebrew inscriptions, such as those found on pottery shards and monumental stones from the 10th century BCE onward, closely resemble their Phoenician counterparts. The shapes of the letters, the direction of writing, right to left, and the absence of vowel notation all point to a shared heritage. But what of the African connection? The story does not begin or end with Egypt alone. North Africa, with its ancient centers of learning and trade, played a crucial role in the spread and transformation of scripts. The Berber peoples, for example, developed their own alphabetic systems such as Tifinagh, which some scholars trace back to the same family of early alphabetic scripts that gave rise to Phoenician and Hebrew. Moreover, the movement of peoples through trade, migration, and conquest ensured that ideas and technologies flowed across borders that today seem vast. The Nile, the Sinai, and the Levant formed a continuum of cultural exchange, where scripts evolved and adapted to local languages and needs. As Hebrew writing matured, especially after the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BCE, it began to diverge from its Phoenician roots. The script known as Paleo-Hebrew was used for centuries in religious and administrative texts. Over time, however, the Jews of Babylon adopted the square script, derived from Aramaic, itself a descendant of Phoenician. This square script, still used in Hebrew texts today, represents another chapter in the long story of script evolution. The significance of these scripts goes far beyond the shapes of their letters. They embody the aspirations, beliefs, and identities of the peoples who used them. For the ancient Israelites, writing became a means to preserve sacred traditions, encode laws, and record the chronicles of kings and prophets. The very act of writing was imbued with spiritual significance. The Torah scroll, painstakingly written by scribes, became a central symbol of identity and faith. Understanding the origins of ancient Hebrew writing also sheds light on the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. The scripts of the ancient Near East did not develop in isolation. They were products of a dynamic world, shaped by the ebb and flow of peoples, ideas, and technologies. The alphabet, born in the crucible of African and Semitic interaction, became one of humanity's most enduring inventions. To trace the evolution of Hebrew script is to witness the birth of the alphabet itself. The simplicity of the system, 22 symbols capturing the sounds of speech, was a profound leap forward. It enabled the transmission of knowledge across generations and distances, and it laid the groundwork for the development of literacy as a foundation of culture. Consider the power of the written word in ancient Israel. Inscriptions found at sites like Lachish, Ge'ez, and Kuntilat Ajrud offer glimpses into daily life, religious practice, and political affairs. Names, prayers, contracts, and correspondence were etched into stone, pottery, and metal. Each inscription is a voice from the past, echoing across the centuries. The story of Hebrew writing is also a story of survival and adaptation. Through conquest, exile, and diaspora, the script was preserved, transformed, and transmitted. Jewish communities carried their writing across the ancient world, from Egypt and Babylon to Greece, Rome, and beyond. The script became a vessel of memory, continuity, and hope. In the broader context, the spread of the alphabetic principle transformed the ancient world. Greek traders adopted the Phoenician script, adding their own innovations, such as symbols for vowels. The Latin alphabet, used today for English and many other languages, traces its lineage back through Greek and Etruscan to the same Phoenician root. This lineage highlights the African and Near Eastern origins of a system now so familiar that it is often taken for granted. The alphabet, in its earliest forms, was an African and Semitic invention, a testament to the creative genius of the peoples who first carved and inked its symbols onto stone and papyrus. In summary, ancient Hebrew writing was indeed shaped by its Phoenician heritage and, more broadly, by the alphabetic traditions of the ancient Near East and North Africa. Its earliest forms are nearly indistinguishable from Phoenician, reflecting a shared origin in the Proto-Sinaitic and Proto-Canaanite scripts that emerged from the interplay of Egyptian and Semitic cultures. The African roots of these scripts are evident in the pivotal role of Egypt and North Africa as centers of innovation and exchange. The alphabet, as a concept and as a tool, was born in these regions and transformed the course of human history. To look at an ancient Hebrew inscription is to see not only the words of a long-gone scribe, but the echoes of countless voices. From African artisans and Egyptian priests to Phoenician traders and Israelite prophets, all contributing to the story of writing. In each letter is a story of migration, adaptation, and the enduring power of communication. The legacy of ancient Hebrew writing lives on, not only in sacred texts and historical inscriptions, but in the very alphabets we use today. It is a reminder that the act of writing, so central to our lives, is itself a bridge across time, culture, and continent, a testament to the universal human desire to record, remember, and connect. As we reflect on the origins of the Hebrew script, we are reminded of the profound interconnectedness of the ancient world. The story of writing is not the story of a single people or place. It is a story of exchange, adaptation, and shared ingenuity. The alphabet, that most democratic of inventions, is a gift from the past, rooted in Africa, blossoming in the Levant, and flowering across the world. To understand this story is to appreciate the deep and abiding links between peoples, languages, and cultures. It is to see in the simple lines and curves of an ancient script the enduring power of human creativity and the unbroken chain of civilization. And if you're still here, maybe your soul just got touched in the deepest place. At Tales of Black, every story is a ritual, a reminder that some memories are not written in books, but in bone and blood. If this story stirred something in you, share it with someone still wondering. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what comes next. And if there's a legend, a memory, or a haunting you want told, leave it in the comments. Maybe your story is the next one summoned in the ritual.